Rave On, the essential recordings of Buddy Holly. When I was a kid, back in the 405 lines monochrome early 60s, I followed the hit parade. We had beat groups. There was Mersey beat, like the Beatles, Jerry and the Pacemakers and the Searchers. There were the ones we thought were Mersey beat because they came from a place not far from Liverpool. The Hollies, Freddie and the Dreamers, Herman's Hermits. And there was even the Tottenham beat of the Dave Clark Five. It seemed there was a line between this music and the music of the 50s that we called rock and roll. Rock and roll seemed old-fashioned, old guys like Chuck Berry and Little Richard in old-fashioned clothes, appearing in old-fashioned films and making Bakelite 78 RPM records. The one I had the least regard for was the one we kept seeing scratchy clips of, a guy whose tuxedo made him look like he was performing in a working man's club. A guy with an awful song that might have been some kind of joke, the way he kept repeating the name Peggy Sue and hiccuping in between. The only other thing this guy seemed to do was another awful song about the same person. It wasn't until the film That'll Be the Day came out that I found a Buddy Holly song I really liked. The blues turnaround on the title song grabs your attention and the chorus is irresistible. Somehow that film joined up the story of rock for me, with its 50s and early 60s songs, and one written by Pete Townsend of The Who. What really made me realise the importance of early rock and roll was pub rock. And when I looked at it closer, I realised that the original Buddy Holly and the Crickets were the model for most guitar rock. The rhythm guitar, lead guitar, bass and drum of the beat groups, punk and indie, the Beatles, the Clash, the Pixies and the ilk. I was fairly late starting to play the guitar because I believed you had to be able to play like Ritchie Blackmore. I should have started out listening to Buddy Holly records. The guitar is inventive within the style of the time. Double stops, part chords and extended arpeggios. Very little use of the blues scale and certainly no squealing bends. And everything is so clear, no distortion, just lots of echo and reverb. Bands like Buddy Holly and the Crickets played dances, and the songs have the rhythms young people would have danced to. Fast rockabilly with a slapping upright bass for a quick Lindy hop, and smoochy slow numbers. The tracks on this triple CD range from quite crude and basic band performances to big string productions on songs like True Love Ways and Raining in My Heart, where they also appear as pizzicato and in places a bit bluesy. And there was also those famous chimes. There are a lot of generic 12-bar numbers and 3-chord country tricks and a very cheap sounding chirpy organ. But there is some nice piano boogie and a touch of gospel. And all I can say is, oh boy, rave on, Buddy Holly.